We help this pricing consultancy with a new proposal template that helps them win new business and command higher fees. I'm Kyle Racki, co-founder and CEO of Proposify, and our team helps over 8,000 customers send winning proposals, and our professional services team designs custom proposal templates for our clients. We've done hundreds of proposals and have seen everything, and so what we like to do in this video series with Proposal Makeovers is share the best practices so that you can transform your own proposals into winning ones. And today what we're going to do is walk through a case study of Pace Pricing, one of our clients who we designed their custom proposal template for, and show you what we did different with the before and after so you can see the changes that are going to result in higher close rates. Let's dig in. So when the founder, Bill Wilson, first came to Proposify, he had at first created a template himself. And as you can see here looking at this, it was pretty bare bones. It had a cover page, which looked all right with their logo on it. But then really, if you go through it all, it's just content. It's just black and white text on a page. Very plain looking. Looks like your typical Word document. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but everybody is influenced by visuals. And when there's a lot of text as well, it can feel very monotonous to read through. So what you want to do is you want to kind of break it up, and I'm going to show how we did that. So there wasn't anything visual happening. It didn't really pull out any highlights or key points. Now we're going to look at the new template that we designed for Pace. This is the cover page, and as you can see, it's got a little bit more information on it than the previous one. It's got the logo, it's got the name of the proposal, and more information about who it's getting sent to, but it also has a value prop: price smarter, grow faster. It's really important to reinforce your value proposition. People may have seen your website, but don't assume they have. Always reinforce why this is valuable as opposed to just putting your logo on it. Okay, so first we get into the introduction, and you'll see that what we've designed here, it's still a pretty text-heavy section, but it's got Bill's picture or the name of the rep, whoever's selling that deal. And this is really the most customizable part of your proposal, because this is the introduction, or the executive summary is where you want to reinforce that you listen to your prospect during the initial discovery phase. So this is your way of feeding back to the client what you've heard during discovery. And so you always want this to be pretty customizable. You can include a video if you like. In this case, we just use text. A why us is a really helpful section to include in your proposal. It's a little different than just an about us, because that's, you know, usually just information about the company and where it's located and the history. And most people don't really care about that, but why us is effective because it allows you to put social proof in your proposals. And social proof you see on websites and you see in a lot of marketing collateral. A lot of times we forget to put that in our proposal. And this is not just you saying you're great, it's other people saying you're great. So here we included some testimonials where they can put, you know, things that past customers have said about Pace Pricing and the kind of impact it's had, as well as really quantifiable results. Like 98% of SaaS companies that change pricing see positive results, or 11% increase in profit for every 1% improvement in pricing. And where Pace was a newer business, they didn't have as many past clients to be able to refer these types of really quantifiable metrics. So instead they included just industry metrics, because at least for software companies, a lot of times they don't change their pricing because they're afraid to, and they're just leaving money on the table. So this was a chance for Pace to really sell why change your pricing and why they are the best experts to help you navigate those price changes. You'll see here in the design as well, there's illustrations, and these illustrations we just pulled off of their website. They're stock illustrations, but it's a nice way to just make the proposal feel a little bit more friendly. Use it to break up text so it's not just reading, you know, one column text the entire time. You can see from the team page that it's well laid out, where this is a professional service, where you're getting really seasoned experts on your account helping you as consultants. Very important to highlight your team, who's going to be working on this account. And the team page does this nicely with photos, names, titles, and then a little description of reinforcing that they're the experts, right? So Bill, 3X founder, SaaS pricing expert. Then we get into the About Us section. What Pace does instead, and what we designed in the proposal template, is we talked about their process. Because at the end of the day, if you're a consultancy, a professional services business, it isn't just the experts on your team. It's about the methodology or the process that they use time and again to get you results. This helps reinforce trust in your buyer that you're not just leaving it to chance that you're going to get results, because it's not an inexpensive service, but instead they have a 4-step process to get the kind of results that we're talking about. So they talk about step one, the profile, the architect of the pricing plan, the calibration, and the execution. And then they have little descriptions that explain these with nice little illustrations that are different colors that break this up a little bit. Next, we get into deliverables. This is a little bit more of a text-heavy section. We're still using icons, though, to kind of make the text more easy to scan and be able to see all these different phases on the deliverables. But it's still a really nice way to present it with bullet points and nice use of headings and heading hierarchy. Then you get into the schedule. So again, when you sell a professional service, people are wondering, how long is this going to take? What's the engagement like from a timing perspective? Because the longer it takes you to start, the longer it takes you to see results on the other end. So this is a really helpful piece to include in your proposal because it also creates a little bit of a sense of urgency for your buyers, right? They're looking at the timeline and saying, wow, this isn't, we're starting this in January. This isn't going to be really finished until May or June. So we better get started right away and not drag our feet too long because we want those results that we've seen on the Why Us page. And the way that we presented this was in a table, almost like a Gantt chart view, and that can be a really nice way to visualize the timeline. So now we get into the pricing page. And the pricing, as our state of proposal show, is always pretty much universally the number one page that everybody goes to when they first look at your proposal. And so they might go to the pricing and then go to the top and start reading it through, but you know that they're always going to start on the pricing page. And the way that we designed Pace's pricing table is what's called a core plus more approach to pricing. I actually learned this from Bill at Pace because this is a common way that many industries price their products and services, but especially SaaS, which is to say there's this core platform fee, and then there's these add-on modules that you can add to it. And so the way Pace prices their services is they have sort of the core engagement, and then they have add-ons for things like additional blocks of interviews, because part of their service is interviewing your customers to be able to get qualitative data to inform your pricing. So they're saying if you want to buy blocks of more interviews, you can do that. And what's really interesting here is that they're selling blocks, not individual ones. And I think that's really important because if you sell unit quantity, so if you basically say, let the customer choose how much of something they want to buy, it can be helpful and easier for the buyer to understand it in terms of blocks of, say, interviews as opposed to just individual interviews. 3 versus 4 versus 5. They're just saying you buy a block of 10, it costs X amount of dollars. Same thing with competitor analysis. They also sell that in blocks. And then they also have a recurring coaching support where it's 3 months post-project delivery. They'll coach you and guide you as you roll out these pricing changes. And that's an optional add-on fee. So they've made it very modular in the way that you can add on. So there's sort of passive upsells baked into the pricing page. Okay, so the next part of the template is the coaching services. And this just explains more about what that add-on service includes. It's got a nice sidebar that talks about why would you potentially want SaaS price coaching. And it also, again, uses testimonials, social proof. It uses illustrations to break things up. And it shows you what's included in those sessions. What can a buyer expect if they buy your coaching services? And then the final, before terms and conditions, is the next steps page. And this is often one of the biggest missed opportunities with proposals is there isn't a clear call to action. In marketing, you never want to just leave a potential buyer hanging and saying, like, what do I do next? You want to include a call to action, buy now, book a demo, etc. It's the exact same thing in your proposal. You want to include the next steps page, which basically says, okay, if you like what's in here, here are the next steps. And you include the signature buttons right in the template. And that's what we did for Pace. So here were the 3 biggest takeaways from this proposal makeover. Number 1 was create a page layout with variations to create visual interest and use columns, headers, footers, sidebars, icons, illustrations to make your proposal not feel like one big giant contract that somebody has to read, but really walk them through the story and the journey of how they're going to buy your service and why they should buy your service. Use color contrast in your proposals. You noticed with Paces versus the original, which was very much like monochromatic one color, this uses a lot of colors within their brand that still fit, but there's the green, the pink, the blue, and it just makes it feel more colorful, more approachable, more friendly, and draws the eye a little bit more. And then finally, the pricing page. So you'd expect Pace Pricing would be experts in pricing, and that's reflected in their actual pricing page itself. Create passive upsells. Allow your buyers to pre-select how many of something they want to buy, potentially buy in blocks as opposed to just individual units. And that way buyers need to specifically remove the add-ons if you have them pre-selected. So it's sort of like a recommended upsell, and that's a really good thing to include in your pricing page. If you enjoyed this, you might want to consider actually hiring our team to design your proposal template. There's a link you can check out to learn more about our professional services. And otherwise, we'll see you soon with another proposal makeover.